Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Bunnings NPC. This one, Manawatu taking on North Harbour. Now, these games are actually scheduled for 7:10 p.m. kickoff rather than the normal 7:05. So we've still got around 5 minutes before the start of this fixture, but it is an important one for both of these sides to get off on the right track. We saw in that last night's match between Auckland and Waikato, what a game it was. Went down to the wire, somehow a comeback victory after being down by 20 points for the Waikato boys, but both teams getting minimum 2 points from that contest. Just looking at the table, of course, you can't really tell a lot from that other than the fact that Waikato have 5 points, Auckland have 2, and the rest of these sides still to play, including these two sides taking part in this match. Looking through and Manawatu's starting lineup, as you can see there, they have got the handy player in the number 12 jersey, and Ngāti Laumape back into this Manawatu side. He partners with Kyle Brown in the midfield. Combination, TK Howden, Fabish, and also Braden Yossi in the loose forward trio. They will be ones to watch out for. Yossi always phenomenal for the Hurricanes. And then that back three of James Tofa, I should say, Taniela Filamoni, who we did see briefly get the chance for the Highlanders, and then Drew Wild there as the number 15. Looking through at the starting lineup for North Harbour, they too have a few handy players across their side. Front row, Tuanga Fasi Gordon and Sione Mafaleo in that number 3 kit. Tom Savage, the captain, at 4. And then in terms of that back line, watch out for Patrick Pellegrini, an underrated part of Moana Pacifica's Super Rugby season. Marka Vakina and also Cade Banks at number 15. But those are the starting lineups. A few handy players off the bench as well later on in this contest to make their way onto the park. I am curious to know, though, whether or not we get a second half like we did last night between Auckland and Waikato, whether or not one team will be leading by a substantial margin and then the bench come on and somehow that next gear does kick in. We do see that North Harbour, they are favourites for this matchup, but so we're Auckland. So it's very hard to tell what is going to happen throughout this game. We have got the Are We All Excited, says Robert. I'm excited for this game. I do think that it has got potential, maybe not being as close as that game between Auckland and Waikato, just because that was only 1 point split. But I do see a game that can be within 10 points here, depending on how aggressive both sides do decide to go throughout this match. We have got there, good morning. How are you, Hamish? What games are you doing tomorrow? Says Mahadeen. So we are at least doing the British and Irish Lions versus Australia third test match. And I am hoping to do both games of the Curry Cup that are taking place tomorrow between the Lions and Western Province and also the Sharks and the Bulls. Other than that, though, nothing else confirmed as of yet because I'm still waiting to find out what I'm actually doing for this weekend. And Talia not playing this year, I think he's actually been announced in their squad. So I don't know why he's not playing in this contest. I don't know whether or not it's some sort of injury or maybe they're just giving other guys a chance. But no, he was announced in that initial team. So it would feel weird to announce him in the side and then just not play him at all. Like, unless, of course, he was going to be playing for someone else, such as those guys in the ABs, but that's not the case for Mark Delia. Hi, Alan Hamish says, Robert, welcome in. And we have got about that no build-up. No, but because the games are taking place at 7:10, it does still mean that we had the 5 minutes build-up, which normally we would have, but for that game yesterday, it was also the 10 minutes, but we see the NPC debut tonight for Patrick Pellegrini. Going to be a very handy player to have in that fly half jersey. They're just talking about the fact that Tane Edmed was playing that number 10 role for North Harbour, but he is sadly no longer there, but a handy option in the 10 jersey for this Manawatu side. They have got Brett Cameron alongside Geordie Filiuan as that 9 and 10 combo. So if a team gets 4 tries, they get a bonus point regardless of if they win or lose, correct? Yes, so similar to what we see in the URC and also I want to say the Six Nations does that same format. I believe the Premiership also does it, and I could be wrong, but I think the top 14 does it too. So pretty much what most other competitions do, with the exception of Super Rugby, that does like to be different and have that 3 or more than your opposition. Question, are you doing the 2 Sunday ITM Cups games, considering one of them is a Shield game? Says Kiwi Rob. I know that the Ramphilly Shield match is on Saturday night between Taranaki and Northland. The 2 games on Sunday will be Bay of Plenty versus Tasman, and then Hawke's Bay versus Counties Manukau. But Nothing confirmed yet. Like I said, I'm still waiting to find out what's happening with the other Kiwi lads who are coming down, or one of them is coming down for the weekend. They're trying to make plans at the moment. But yeah, until I know what's happening there, I can't confirm or deny any live streams. But pretty much once I know that timing, I'll be able to schedule streams around that. But nothing confirmed yet. I was the Shield on Saturday. Yep, 7:05 PM on Saturday night, the Ramfurly matchup between Taranaki and Northland. We have got there, so that means Waikato could drop to 7th, as they only have a points differential of 1, unless no other teams win get 4 tries. I like the positive thinking, Novmum, and you are correct, but now kicked off by Patrick Pellegrini, and we are now underway for another match of the Bunnings NPC. If it's anything like the game yesterday, we are in for an absolute treat, as that game, even though it seemed predictable, was certainly not by the end of it. But now currently, ball in the hands of Manawatu inside of their own 22. They come in as the underdogs for this matchup, but certainly can pack that punch. Geordie Filiuan, almost a 2-man charge down on him. Goes high, Cade Banks, waiting for that one, but instead Filamoni able to slap it back onto the side of North Harbour. They look to use their backline. I'm going to the Bay on Sunday, Arvo. Says Kiwi Rob, is Australia captain leaving? Is it true? Wait, who's the Australia captain that's leaving? Are you talking about Nick White? Or are you talking about someone else? Because the captain for Australia at the moment is Harry Wilson, but I don't know whether or not that's the one that you're referring to. In football, they say each FIFA World Cup starts in essence only once Brazil plays its first game. Can we say the same about the NPC and Manawatu? Once the Turbos play, the tournament is officially opened, says Taylor. Once again, I like the optimism. The Turbos, I have to say, one of the most unique fan bases across the NPC, only because you literally, I believe, get a discount if you wear a bucket on your head to the game. I don't think any other side around New Zealand offers that, but we saw a lot of buckets on Swedes throughout the opening couple minutes of the camera on the crowd. Brett Cameron finds the touchline though, and currently 1 minute into the contest, still 0-0. Nick White is going bye-bye, thank God for that, says Kiwi Rob. You see, people don't like Nick White much. I know that some people get annoyed just from looking at the mustache right from the get-go, but he's actually a really nice guy outside of like rugby, like outside of on the field. We have got there is Lions versus Australia tomorrow. It is, yes. And yes, it is, says Taylor. But now the ball on the inside, currently running forward, North Harbour on attack with Tommy Hendrickson. They've got themselves a penalty advantage here as well. North Harbour can, so they can start to move it, I should say. Cade Banks tackled, and we will now go back for the original penalty. Now, early on in the game between Auckland and Waikato, we did see quite a few times where 3 points were turned down. Instead, the side's going more aggressive. This game, I think we'll see a little bit of both. North Harbour are the favourites, but you've got to chase those bonus points as much as physically possible. We have got the I have no opinion of Nick White. He's just another rugby player, says Novma. And we have got the High Hamish and Rugby People, says Studs raised there. Looks like they are kicking this one for the corner. Pellegrini putting it out about 10 metres from the line. I just said there about the attacking statistics from last year, having some very nice ones for North Harbour. You have Wales versus Australia women tonight, and the Wales kicking off at 8 PM tonight. Says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, plenty of rugby taking place all just this evening. Now looking to get this rolling ball going again. North Harbour. Ball at the back for Bryn Gordon. Starting to move a little bit here, although Manawatu doing well. Brayden Yossi coming in through the side, I think, is the advantage there. It's going to be dragged down. This ball not quite coming out, and they will go back for the penalty. Now let's go Harbour, let's go. Says Aiden, and also Nick White will go down as the rugby player of all time. Says Tanner, he's probably got the best mustache of all time. Well, at least in recent time, although Charlie Gamble's really trying to push him, isn't he? Man's facial hair grows very fast and very, I guess, thick. It's about how you describe it. Brayden Yossi trying to do the facial hair this year by the looks of it. A little bit of a mustache and a goatee going. Now Bryn Gordon. See if we can see some Yossi defence get going here in the early stages. Once again, rolling closer. Though this time well defended. Bryn Gordon wants that rolling maul. They were told to use it, but as we know, for a rolling maul, it can take forever before they actually do need to. Now ripping it away, Luke Campbell. In fact, they never decided to stop rolling. Just 1 metre out from the try line and potentially has knocked that one on. Yes, they have. Oh no, taken back by Manawatu. So ball dropped. Okay, so I think we've just heard the description there. So it was ripped away by Manawatu and then from there placed inside of their own in-goal area. Do you think Wales and Australia will win tonight? Or sorry, do you think Wales or Australia? Well, Australia weren't supposed to lose that first game, so I think they'll be more fired up for the second one. We see it there, just getting that crucial steal in the breakdown, but because he was just inside of the field of play, it actually becomes a 5 metre scrum, which is just as dangerous here for North Harbour. See 5 minutes of nothing but the Harbour attack just at this point. Seeing a huge amount coming back from the underdogs, Manawatu, but that is just because they haven't really had a chance with the ball in hand. TK Howden packing down on the side of the scrum. Looking relatively even there in terms of the scrum matching up. Now looking for the backline, North Harbour. Wide cutout pass going towards the corner. He's dropped the ball forward though, right in the corner, Sophie Maka. And it will be now a line out for Manawatu. At the moment, the Turbos are surviving the early Harbour onslaught. Sophie Maka, of course, we've already seen that number 11 jersey lead to quite a few tries in that first match for Auckland, where we saw Xavier Tito Harris get himself the double. See their line-out success in 2024. They were actually the 10th ranked team for line-out success with 81% here in Manawatu. Going to be thrown in, nicely sold. And now popping it up in behind. Jordi Filiuan goes to Brayden Yossi. We have got there his blindside for North Harbour. He looks like a five-year-old sitting on his dad's shoulder. That's Tristan Cook in that number 5 jersey. Now I'm going to have to look at him again and work out what the goal is with that analogy. Where is he? Now ball available again for Luke Campbell. I think Luke Campbell, did he have a short stint with... Was he playing for the Hurricanes at one point as about a third choice halfback? Where does he fall into? I'm sure he's been at someone other. Oh, great run from Pellegrini. Going to be tackled well by Manawatu. K bangs, wide cutout pass into the corner chance, but he might have just been in touch. Yes, he was. And again, we will see North Harbour make that little mistake. That was close, though. Being able to almost get that first strike on the board. But that is now twice that North Harbour have been pushed into touch 5 metres out from the opposition line. Manawatu decide to go quickly. They just need to get it out of here at this point in time. Jordi Filiuan now will kick it himself. Just manages to dodge the hand of Kalapu. I mean, his haircut makes him look really young. He's the tallest bloke on the field, maybe. See his studs race. You see it there, just that slight push in the touch. It was actually the Philemoni defence. See, ever since you mentioned it, I haven't been able to find number 6. I don't think they've shown him on the shot again. You know, he's a tall bloke, isn't he? He looks like his knees make him about 30, to be honest. The way that he runs around, it looks like he's taken a few shots to the kneecaps throughout his time. Now backline movement, Nani Laumape. First touch for him throughout this contest. Drew Wild puts it on the outside to Teniela. Philemoni, poor defence from Sophie Maka. Oh, and a massive clean out there in the breakdown. Now Brayden Yossi is always one to keep an eye out for Manawatu and the Bunnings NPC. Now Brett Cameron, Nani Laumape. He doesn't normally kick, and we've just seen why, giving it straight to North Harbour. It almost looked like he all but missed it off the kick there. Now Campbell. Back across to the left-hand side, Pellegrini. Into the middle, looks like North Harbour are going to try and run this, but it will lead to the knock-on from Manawatu. Go for the interception, not quite successful. Will now be another scrum. A lot of, I guess, aggression shown early on in terms of the attacking way that they're both trying to go about it. Going to be a fast-paced game already. We're seeing some of the props taking some big, deep breaths. Manani Laumape, that... Yeah, I know. He tried the no-look kick there from Nani Laumape, but just didn't quite get enough on it. And then just half a knock on there from Kyle Brown. Or Manawatu going for the intercept. Ready to feed this ball in, Luke Campbell. Does look like a mini, what's his name? James Blackwell. A little bit of a mini James Blackwell looking at him from a distance, minus, of course, the headgear. Okay, so they're just saying that there wasn't a lot of settledness going on at the front rows. Last scrum was very even, though, and one of the few scrums nowadays that we actually saw go in and out without any advantages, going to any side or a free kick, which was great to see. The big man in the front row, Basin, his brother was playing in the under-20s rugby championship not too long ago, Vernon. Mosisi, I should say. Vernon, of course, out there on the park for Manawatu today. Are we going to witness a sweep tomorrow? See his cats and now. It's a possibility. I did think that the Lions would mix up their team a little bit more than they have, but they've pretty much gone with a very similar look inside to what they did for Test Match 1 and 2. They like that 19 combo of Gibson Park and Finn Russell. Drew Wild kicking that one up high from the back. Philemoni chasing after it, but a bit too deep. Means that Patrick Pellegrini can send down a kick of his own. I see taken again. Pellegrini, like I said, one of the standout players for Moana Pacifica throughout the season. Anytime he was making his way on the field off the bench, it would certainly change a game. Territory at the moment, 94% in favour of North Harbour, but they are yet to score themselves a try in this matchup. Do you think James O'Connor not being named is a mistake by the coach, says Kiwi Rob? And I mean this in the nicest way possible, but I don't think Joe Schmidt really cares. Like in this scenario, they're already down 2-0, so there's nothing really to be gained for the Australians. Whether they get one back and it's a 2-1 series or it's a 3-0, people are going to absolutely trash talk the daylights out of them anyway. So, you know, for Schmidt, he's at least going, we're going to give these young guys one more chance, build them towards the future, plus towards the Rugby Championship. We don't even know if James O'Connor is in Joe Schmidt's plans for that competition. But now, moving just that little bit further forward. Luke Campbell, Pellegrini solved the dummy, but a good low tackle on him by Flynn Yates. Just continuing to build here, Bryn Gordon. Moving a little bit further forward. Used to seeing a different Bryn in that North Harbour kit. Campbell. To the right again, Cade Banks playing first receiver. He's lined up early. And big boot there says, does raise. Yeah, I mean, Pellegrini, he is one of those guys that I think if you give him 1 or 2 years, he could be, I don't want to jinx him, but honestly, he could be one of the best 10s around. Like at least top 10 fly halves in international rugby anyway. Or maybe just in general. But now, still there, Luke Campbell. And off to the right-hand side, Pellegrini. Skip past to the outside. A lot of space to be able to work with there. For Russo, I believe it was. Or Russo, it might be. That number 8 jersey, Pellegrini, again passes it across to the big man at 6. In this game, Tristan Cook tackled low. Still North Harbour, though, just are not letting up. Manawatu aren't going down easy. They do not want to concede this first try, no matter how much it's being thrown at them, but now the knock-on coming. We'll go back for another scrum. How are you going to manage the big game between South Africa and Australia? And Argentina and New Zealand on the 17th. They are at different times, so we'll be fine. So, yeah, like we've done all-nighters before. In fact, we've done a lot of all-nighters when it comes to just doing like Super Rugby in the URC. So, honestly, only having 2 or maybe 4 games with the Pacific Nations Cups going on, it should be pretty straightforward. Could you show us the actual game? I cannot due to licensing, but I can tell you where you can find it. You can find it on, I believe, Stan Sport and also Sky Sport 2 here in New Zealand. But due to copyright, any match footage would get me taken straight off YouTube and banned for 3 months and potentially sued, which I don't really want, unfortunately. You think we're lacking the big tall locks and loose boards right now, says Tanner 2. It's a tricky one because some people straight away go, you need height to be successful in an international line-out. And in some regards, that is correct. But at the same time, you know, some of the taller players around in New Zealand aren't actually the best locks. But because of their height, they normally get that little bit of extra talk about them. Or same with loose forwards. It's a rough example to use, but, you know, someone like Osama Penny-Finau. how a lot of people aren't sold on him at international level, but they go, oh, but we need to keep him there because he's a bit taller than some of the other guys in the team. So, if you're getting picked purely just because you're tall, it sounds a little bit more like basketball than rugby in that regard. But Geordie Filiuan about to feed this ball, and he's certainly not winning any height competitions. Now into the pocket. Nari Lamape with the running straight goes over the top of Pellegrini, who did slow him down though. Geordie Filiuan now kicking in behind, and once again just a bit too deep, and it goes out on the full. Mistake from Manawatu. They just can't exit their own half without either going too deep, that gives North Harbour the counter-attack, or kicking it or dropping it, making that crucial mistake. We're already 14 minutes in though, and I think Manawatu have been in the opposition half once throughout this 14 minutes. North Harbour have won the last 5 Bunnings NPC games against Manawatu. There's the statistic that they've just shown there. Now thrown into the front. Oh, it would have been a great steal for TK. Oh, Howden's saying it came off his forehead. He's saying, I never touched that one with my hands. Is that the wrong call from the referee, I wonder? We're going to see the replay now. Oh, it does hit him in the head there, TK Howden. I'm not sure whether or not it also hit his hand on the way down. He might feel a little bit hard done by there, TK Howden. Will lead to another opportunity. Does it count as a handling error if it smacks you in the face and then goes on the ground? I don't think it does. Honest opinion, do you prefer the setup? Oh, the 2 divisions in the NPC, says Kiwi Rob. I honestly don't mind either. I do like the fact with this one we get to see more sides play up against, different opposition in a way. Although in the other competition, of course, you saw that anyway. I think it's just the NPC is... it's the NPC, whether it's a split comp or whether it's a round robin. I feel like either way you're getting your money's worth. Going off to the right-hand side, Luke Campbell tries a short pass. It's going to be knocked on by Geordie Filiuan in the tackle. Very good at commentary. Thank you very much, Vinny. It's greatly appreciated. Your favourite verbally challenged player. What do we consider verbally challenged, though? Because some of these boys don't talk a lot. So are you talking about the ones who say nothing, or the ones who only say the occasional sentence? As games got more structured, it's exposed New Zealand's preferences for skill-based lock, CS studs race, and New Zealand or Argentina, who will win. I think that New Zealand should. But, Argentina, if we learn anything from the Rugby Championship last year, they beat every single side. So we can't guarantee that they won't be able to do it again. I hope someone scores soon. I might fall asleep. Says Nov Mama, my gosh, what a boring game, says the Lim Report. Jeez, people are brutal to these 2 sides. Not exactly finishing high up the table, either team, respectively. But, I think it's building. I think at this stage, we're just not quite seeing it. We have got their... vertically, not verbally. I was very confused. I was like, wait, so a guy who doesn't talk a lot? Honestly, Scott Barrett came to mind. But we won't say that. Although I just did. But now running 40 in North Harbour. So vertically challenged player. My favourite... Well, of course, it's easy to go with like a halfback. But I would say... Honestly, at the moment, Duplessis Karifi, I think, has proven a lot of people wrong, because everyone's been saying, he's too small to be an international flanker. But he just shows that work rate. Another drop ball from Tristan Cook. That's now the second time the big man's made a break and then has fumbled the possession afterwards just to lose it. We have got there, don't care who wins as long as team only gets 3 tries. Says Novman for the winning side. This keeps going. I'll swap to the cricket and the Wars. Says the Lim Report, and people don't like defence anymore. Says Studs Race. Yeah, that's the thing. The first 15 minutes has been some phenomenal defence from Manawatu. Like the fact that they were defending 10 metres out from their line for a good 20 phases combined throughout about 3 different plays, and both times down the wing they did get the ball into touch. I feel like North Harbour, they'll be disappointed with the way that they've attacked, but Manawatu will be very happy with how they've defended in this game because they just haven't let it sneak through. I grew up with him, he was solid, I remember him, and he was a great player, says Vinny. Now Geordie Filiuan kicking this one downfield once again. This time it will be Tom Hendrickson. Again, North Harbour will get the chance to do the counter-attack. Cade Banks tackled around the halfway line. Manawatu just want that steal. They haven't been able to get it. The territory is 95% for this first half. The possession's got to be about 70 or so. Score please, score is still 0-0 after 18 and a half minutes. So neither side managing to break through. Drew Wild, though, taking that ball for Manawatu as it leads to their first real attacking chance of the whole game. They'll use their backline, firing it on the outside, little kicker behind, and this is as far down the field as they've been throughout the game. Ball does go into touch, but it will be a Manawatu line out. It sounds like it's really got the crowd on their feet now. What's the crowd like? It looks all right, to be fair. Like, you're never going to see a massive crowd for the NPC anymore, unfortunately. Like, they always show those old highlights back in the day, and the crowds were just packed. They had their signs and everything like that. Nowadays, you know, you struggle to get a couple thousand to some of these games. Oh, no, sorry, line out for North Harbour. Our referee did put up the wrong arm there. Now thrown in, almost stolen, but nicely claimed by Tom Savage. Passes across. So not only the 10 metres out from the line at the moment, Manawatu once again trying to go for a little bit of a counter ruck. And Pellegrini does kick it into touch. We have their crowds are better in the provinces, says the Lim report. However, there's 60,000 sold out, says Grims. I don't know whether or not the stadium would hold 60,000. Imagine 60,000 people all with the Manawatu buckets on their heads. It'll be quite the sight to see. And now 20 minutes passed in this contest. Thrown in, it's not straight from Vernon Basson. In fact, no, sorry, balking was the call, so that is when you hesitate to throw it. Our thoughts on Super 8 game tomorrow? Super 8 game, which Super 8? What is Super 8? That's not the Curry Cup, is it? I know that they've got 8 teams in their competition. And we have got their standing room only, says the Lim report. Now, will be the free kick for Patrick Pellegrini, who will just kick it as far downfield as he can. Drew Wild, and just to claim that one now, kicking down the field. Claimed again at the back. Schoolboy Rugby, okay, I haven't really been following the Schoolboy Rugby this year. And first 15, and also 60k is pretty much the whole population of Palmy. That ball close to the touchline, but Manawatu now back in position. Comes the run from TK Howden. Back down around the halfway line, almost thought about getting up and going again. Geordie Phil goes to Brett Cameron, chipped him behind, awkward bouncing ball, but again, North Harbour are ready for it. Big shot on Pellegrini, thoughts on the Saudi Rebel League. Start soon, spells the end of rugby in New Zealand as we know it. I like the impact of the IPO on cricket, says Sam. I haven't actually looked into it too far as of yet. I know that there's a whole heap of professional players who have signed in it, but I don't actually know anyone who has decided to go in it. Patrick Pellegrini kicking behind, but cleaned up by Manawatu this time. Looking for the offload, another advantage. Basson does well and gets a really awkward landing on his back too. But it's out wide on the short side for James Toffa, who sits down Nick Fakina. Around the halfway line, Geordie Filion. Well, the Rugby 360. Here's Kiwi Express. Now Filion goes back across Cameron. All still there for Manawatu. This is almost the most phases we have seen them put together throughout this match. Geordie Filion with the pick and go just didn't quite get away from Tom Hendrickson, and the ball stolen in the breakdown from Luke Campbell. Where can I watch the game for free? Lol here in South Africa. TSTV ain't showing it. I really want to watch it, bro. Lol says Sev. Unfortunately, I know that the highlights will be up on YouTube, but in terms of a live match, there aren't actually any legal ways of watching this for free, I don't think. That one's going to go into touch, though, clearing the lines. Patrick Pellegrini. Manawatu just starting to get a little bit more position and territory throughout the last 5 or so minutes of this contest. Well, they said just the error coming at the line-out time, but still trying to grow into this contest. Vernon Basson again with the throw. And they will go right to the back, claimed by Braden Yossi. Man, who everyone wants to see get a little bit more attacking chance. Nani Lamape dragged down low, of course, heading to Moana Pacifica. Next year, geez, still no score. Hi, everybody, says Bruce. Hello. If you are doing well. Oh, breaking the line now for Manawatu. Geordie Filion, the ball on the inside, and they will be the first team to score in this contest. Geordie Filion gets it. But that's got to be so frustrating for North Harbour. You had 20 minutes on attack, 95% territory, and they couldn't budge. This Manawatu defence, errors were sneaking in as well. And the Turbos, they find a gap of a great run of Kyle Brown. And then the ball on the inside, everyone was lured, and that's good. And oh my God, we have a score. And the league's not far off starting. Millions of dollars being thrown at the players and coaches. I know a coach who was offered a role. The rumour is New Zealand Rugby will roll with it. So yeah, Sam. So not far off starting. How long is that? Is there any sort of like starting date, or is it just like it's going to randomly pop up one day? And yeah, someone scored. And there it is, says Studs Race. And Dan, thanks, bro. Love you. That says, thank you very much. But yeah, it is a hard competition to try and find for free, unfortunately. A lot of competitions nowadays, unfortunately, are. And we have got there, wow, it's Robert V. And also we have got there for North, almost 5 minutes inside the 22. So his state not characteristic of past North Harbour matches. Says Lim. Well, that's the thing. North Harbour had all of the attacking statistics throughout last year in terms of some very impressive ones. But they just haven't quite put it together as of yet. 2 months. Players are being talked to. There's not a lot being made public, says Sam. You see, it will be an interesting one. Like, for a lot of guys, it's going to be a massive payday. But, yeah, I know a lot of people are probably against the idea as well. Can I get a shout out for Cruz? See, there's Vinny there. And also, last 5 meetings, Manawatu wins 0. And North Harbour 5. Now offloaded. Oh, this seems like maybe North Harbour needed to be scored up against so that they could then start to find their rhythm, as now Luke Campbell, although the counter ruck coming from Manawatu, it almost popped onto their side. Skip pass from Lika Tuangafasi. 25 metres out, Campbell. Back to the right-hand side again to the captain, Tom Savage. Geordie Filion is very underrated. Says the Lim report. Yeah, normally is considered that third choice at the Hurricanes, but he's a very handy player when he actually gets some minutes. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck has been tapped, but he's on the down, I think. Says the Lim report. Now, awkward bouncing ball picked up now out wide for North Harbour, who pop it back on the inside, and it's going to be the try for Jed Melvin of North Harbour. Manages to score it. And just like that, North Harbour now decide that they want to score tries. Sometimes that's all it takes. One try against you is enough to fire your team up to then decide to score. And that's what they've done here. Great try, says Jonathan. All Blacks are the GOAT for uploading all their games a week after. Says Tanner too. And who's going to ref? Rebel League are going to buy World Rugby refs. World Rugby on board. Says Studs Rays. I'm sure that they would have thought it through though. Like, I don't know whether or not we'll see World Rugby referees and judge. I don't even know if we'll see the World Rugby laws actually used. But I'd assume that World Rugby, they will probably find a way of getting some money out of it. The Rebel League will be like Live Golf. I actually quite enjoy Live Golf though, so that wouldn't be a bad thing. Now, ready to line this one up. Patrick Pellegrini right near the touch line, and that one's going to be missed away to the side. Has anyone been enjoying the 24-hour live stream of the Old Lions games on the All Blacks YouTube channel? So here's the Lim report. I have a feeling this game is going to be fire, says Steve. Yeah, it just seems like one try was needed to warm them up, and now both sides are going for a little short kickoff from Manawatu, and such a great idea, but didn't end up executing. We'll go back into the hands of North Harbour, just dropping that ball in the next stage. Oh, ball stolen in the breakdown, though, for Fabish. Although ball pops back up, I'm not sure how legally on the side of North Harbour. I've seen now 2 turnovers in a row and the breakdown. They're trying to hold him up, but it does become a maul. That ball's popped out. Okay, they're going to go back for the North Harbour scrum. We have there, speaking of Live Golf, have you seen Epic Gilmore too? I have, yes. I ended up watching it on the night that it did come out. According to Sydney, Morning Herald reports Tuivasa-Sheck is in negotiations to sign with the competition in 2027. Play out the final year of his contract at the Warriors next year, says Kiwi Rob. Well, he's probably one of those guys, to be fair, that Like, he's far enough through in his career that if a massive money deal gets thrown at him, like, why wouldn't he take it? Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's second stint at the Wires has been very mid. So, like, if, as you've said, he's had an average second stint and someone's going to pay him a whole heap of money, like, he'll take it. Why wouldn't you? And tries coming like London buses. I wait for ages, then lots come at once. See, here's Bruce. At that time, he will be old. He'll be old, but he'll be rich. Because they won't care if he's old. I mean, it's a little bit similar to what we saw in the MLR right when it started. Of course, not talking the same amount of money, but, you know, they were signing the 40-year-old guys who hadn't played professional rugby for quite some time, or at least not the highest level of rugby, mainly because, you know, the name value. We have got there, who's attacking, says Nichelle. At the moment, North Harbour did have the ball, but now they've kicked it away. Pellegrini going high. And Ariel with it. Oh, that's a big collision in the air, but the ball sits up for Geordie Filiu, dragged down by Tom Savage. And back across to the left-hand side, Brett Cameron. Now backline movement starting up again here for Manawatu. They are leading this contest by 2 points at the moment. Now, Geordie Filiu to the right-hand side. Brett Cameron in behind finds Braden Yossi, who bumps off one. It's dragged down by the second. Looking around for Nani Laumape. We haven't seen a huge amount of him as of yet for this Manawatu side, although saying that they have mainly been defending up until the last 10 minutes or so. TK Howden thought about popping it off, still thinking about the offload. Does decide against it. Apparently they will get 2 million, but if they're popular, they will get more. So here's Kiwi Express, and that's going to be another penalty going against North Harbour. I think how New Zealand rugby deals with it will depend on how long the competition runs for in the year. Rugby is screwed financially in New Zealand. They reckoned we'll only get 2 All Blacks tests a year soon. So here's Sam. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Like, only 2 test matches for the ABs. But, you know, they are in financial trouble. There's no denying that. They're actually going to take on the 3 points here, Manawatu, rather than going for the corner. How's Nani Laumape playing? Pretty quiet so far. He tried a kick earlier on. That didn't work. He's had a good attacking run, though. But outside of that, I'd actually say that Kyle Brown on the outside has had a bit more impact. He did help set up that try of Geordie Filiu. Scotty Sheffler and Travis Kelsey were so good in Happy Gilmore too, says the Lim report. And also, I hope our players got a few, got for a few months, then choose to stay in New Zealand, says Sam. And go the Harbour, says Nas there. And take a 2 here, points are at a premium. It's going to be lined up, and it is kicked over. And that is now going to make the score after 31 minutes between these two sides. 10 points to 5 in favour of Manawatu. Go like this. We will go like that. Sounds like there are a few changes being made here. I know that North Harbour did make a change not too long ago. It's always a tough decision, but given their losing record versus Harbour, take the 3. So here's Jonathan. And we are this year, it's not viable much longer unless they come up with other ways to make money. So here's Sam, and we have got a new... Tell you what, this looks like it's a familiar face, though. I believe that is David the Mod, if I'm not too wrong. So welcome back, David. It is great to have you here. Oh, little bit of a slip there for Manawatu's Geordie Filiu, but they did already have the advantage. The penalty will be awarded. Who scored the tries, says Jimmet. So far, we have seen 1 try for North Harbour. It was Jed Melvin. And then the try for Manawatu was Geordie Filiu. You're watching Wires and Finn's game, little report. You are live streaming at the moment. Says Blues Nate. Are you live streaming? Does he live stream the Lim report? I know that you talked about it a while ago. I didn't realise you actually did it, though. We have to check it out. Lineouts won at the moment for Manawatu. 75% of their lineouts have been won. Their lineouts have been won. You're going to throw this ball in for Basin. He's just walking sideways on the sideline. Oh, knock on from Geordie Filiu, or at least it looked like it. He's going to charge down the wing, though, trying to step and tries to go over the top of Patrick Pellegrini. Ball is protected. Off to the right-hand side, referee has to get out of the way because he almost got cleaned up. Now the Turbos in a very good position on the field. They've got another penalty. This is where, you could take 3 to get the 8-point lead, or you could just go for it. Try and strike just before the halftime break. Oh, they're kicking for the corner. I'm glad that was the choice. The kick to touch was probably the right decision here. I've got North Harbour scrambling a little bit at this point in time. It did look like it was close to a knock-on for Geordie Filion, but I believe he actually knocked it back, and then it went forward. It was play on, and then just in that process of trying to get the back line going. We love bulls is the chant, or at least that's what I thought it was. Surely that's not it though, is it? We love, what would it be for the Turbos? Oh, Geordie Filion thought he was a little bit bigger than he was and tried to snipe round the side of the breakdown, isolating his teammate, and it's going to be stolen by North Harbour. A poor decision from the young halfback, and ended up with his team getting in all sorts of trouble and losing possession in the wrong part of the field. Now, looking to roll this one back here for North Harbour. And line out back says Jonathan. Now told to use it, Luke Campbell. Kicking it downfield again. And that is going to now be a line out for Manawatu, sitting about 25 metres out from the line. Are we over there? I'm not too sure if he still does. I got bought on with YouTube channel. Wait, with my YouTube channel or his YouTube channel? And bad line out though. North took it back. However, this match being played, I'm listening from England. This game is being played in Palmerston North and the North Island of New Zealand. Kick downfield from, I think that was Bryn Gordon, who has struck it. And not only has he struck it extremely well. Now at the back, Drew Wild. Kick it back downfield. We're back to that territory game between these two sides. But yeah, it is a Manawatu home game for this contest, and they are currently doing very well with that 5-point lead. North Harbour off to the left-hand side. Rush defence from Yosei, who tried to intercept it, but it will be knocked on. Now, Melvin, the try scorer for North Harbour. Counter ruck coming from North Harbour, and they have turned this ball over. The ball is on their side too, and the advantage for the knock-on was over. I searched that number 5 from North Harbour. He's a Felix Kalapu. Who can go a lock and flanker, says Tanner too. And that is one of the best things about the NPC. The fact that you see the guys who, at the start of the year, you don't really know too well. And then from there, you eventually, you end up knowing exactly who they are and keeping an eye on them for Super Rugby and seeing if they ever make it to the ABs. Who's on ground? It is Manawatu's home one. Evening all, g'day, Hamish, says David the Mod. By any chance, David, did you just become a member on your other YouTube channel? By chance? Because I think I recognised the picture. But of course, it wasn't the picture of the tennis player on that one. No, not you, Amish. This guy says Blues, Nate, ball's loose. And Drew Wild cleans it up. And currently with 3 minutes remaining in the half, and it's a great steal in the breakdown from North Harbour. Managed to get that position back. Yeah, I did, says David the Mod. Well, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Of course. H&D Family, I believe, was the name of it. Now ready to line up this one. Patrick Pellegrini towards the corner it will go. And evening, Hamish, says Brandon. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. It's a good kick from Pellegrini. In fact, that's a bit harsh from the ref. I think that looked like it was about maybe 6 or 7 metres out from the line. He's gone back to 10. Now North Harbour ready to fire this one in with Bryn Gordon. Very important moment in this half of rugby. Kelda says Blues Nate to David. Starting to move just that little bit. Okay, they're being told to use it once now. Uses the call from the referee now. Going to the right-hand side. Looking for the turnover was Nadila Mape, but not quite able to get that one. Big shot coming in from the Manawatu defence that has pretty much held strong throughout this whole half, with the exception of that one try of Jed Melvin. Now pass on the outside. It's knocked on, but it's picked up by Manawatu. Drew Wild with a lot of pace. does decide to kick downfield and turn it into a proper foot race. Cade Banks will get back, slides in, grabs that ball, but a missed tackle there for Manawatu. Loose ball offloaded, 5 metres out from the line, and Manawatu straight on the ball. Can't get the steal. 2 minutes left now. Manawatu needs some turbo booster. And raining right now in Northland. See the Brandon there. Being told to use it. Luke Campbell. Oh, is this... Okay. I was wondering whether or not they were setting up an angle or whether they were trying to hold on to the ball for 90 seconds to end out the half. But I think there's just too much time. Oh, terrible work from the halfback Campbell. He got caught by Braden Yossi, who was right on him. And now backline movement here for Manawatu. Numbers on the outside, and Philemone will run it in for another one. And Manawatu now lead this game by 15 points to 5. Well, this is definitely a game not going the way it was supposed to, and that is why the NPC is so entertaining. Because North Harbour were heavy favourites. And there was a crucial great try. Manawatu's defence is standing up. Exactly right. It's been really strong throughout this contest. Oh. Okay, I just heard the ref talking to someone. I hope that that wasn't one of his assistants. Okay, I think they were just working out whether or not there was time for a restart to happen in this one. Which there is. They will have a restart no matter what happens with this kick. And that's why Hamish wasn't doing it. Hey, yellow, says Brandon. And need the conversion. Every point is crucial. Still need to clean up the lineouts. Kick from Cameron. He struck it well and it goes over. And that is now going to make the score 17 points to 5 with just about 30 seconds remaining in this first half. But the 12-point lead, as we've already seen throughout this competition, that is not enough to secure a victory. Unfortunately, just ask Auckland in that case. Hello, buddy Nate. Says Brandon in there. Right, I think they were just getting confirmation that there was still the time remaining. Nicely taken, and it will be kicked into touch. And now they will be running towards the halftime sheets for what has been a competitive game so far. I think this is maybe the best start for Manawatu in 5 games versus North Harbour, says Jonathan. Well, they haven't looked like budging defensively. And I know they've conceded 1 try. We have got the Up the Warriors, says Brandon Game. And I think this is maybe the best start for Manawatu in 5 games. Oh no, I read that one. And hey, buddy, Up the Wars, says David. All right, we will go like this. We will check the odds if they've got them. I know that sometimes they don't have them for midway through a game. We'll go like this. We will go like that as well. And we'll go like this. And like that. And like this as well, hopefully. In play, yeah, they do have odds. There you go. $3.10 is what North Harbour sit at the moment. So they have pretty much done the complete switch of what we saw in terms of the start of the match odds. And best turbos half in 5 years against anyone. See his studs raised there. Yeah, it's been really solid. And I don't, like, North Harbour will go into it for the second half thinking that they've absolutely butchered this. Because they had, like I said, so many chances. 2 times they were within 5 metres and they ended up blowing the opportunity. And, you know, it's just a little bit more clinicalness from the Harbour in the second half. And this could be, once again, another game that's just all on for young and old. We'll quickly change that scoreboard so that it does say halftime as well, as that is where we are at. But a lot of games taking place for this weekend, whether or not that's the NPC or the Curry Cup or the last game of the British and Irish Lions Tour. We are going to be covering that one on the channel tomorrow night with a relatively long build-up, probably about 30 or so minutes, maybe even an hour, depending on how chatty I am. And Hamish, Northern Hemisphere blown opportunities. But thanks to Turbos D, says, North Harbour rather than Northern Hemisphere. Thanks to Turbos D, says Studs Rays. Yeah, although, I do still think the Harbour have had chances where, Manawatu have made a couple defences errors. It has been very good, but it hasn't quite been perfect. There's been the times where I think North Harbour, just their handling is the thing that have hurt them the most. And if they could hang on to that ball just that little bit better, the likes of someone like a Tristan Cook, for instance. He had about 3 or so runs where he got them into a dangerous position on the field within the 22, and then just when he thought about offloading it or when he thought about going to ground, he would drop the ball. And most of the time, no one was even touching that part of him. That sounds weird. Can you please put the War game on? Or can you please put the War game on? New Zealand Warriors versus Dolphins. So, as in to see what the score is currently. One moment. We'll go like this. Have they started yet, or do they start at 8 p.m. for that game? Yeah, they must be starting at 8 p.m. for that matchup by the looks of it. It's only a couple of minutes away from starting up. And we have got there, damn, that cat looks hideous. Says Tanner too. That cat. And 8 p.m. kickoff says Novmum. And there as well. But yeah, do let me know who you think is going to win this game. Will this be enough of a lead for Manawatu to be able to hang on throughout this contest? Or could there be the comeback on the cards? Looking through at the benches for the two sides, Manawatu have Raymond Tuputupu. They had 75% accuracy at line-out time throughout that first half. Maybe not quite as high as they would have liked it to be. They're just showing those lineups for the Dolphins as well as the Warriors as well. I have switched over to that channel while we're at the halftime break, but these two benches looking very strong. Hopefully, a couple impact players later on in the matchup too. But looking at what is to come for the Manawatu side, they have got Tasman in 7 days' time, Southland in 14. Then they are playing up against Wellington and then Canterbury there in 30 or so days' time. For North Harbour, they have got their match up against Taranaki, Hawke's Bay versus North Harbour the game after that for them, and then Tasman, and then Bay of Plenty the next two matches. We'll go like that. There we go. Manawatu need at least 4 tries to win versus Harbour, says Jonathan. And also, it was from one of the ads on Sky Sport 2 channel, says Tanner too. And please pray for the rugby gods about North Harbour. Or pray to the rugby gods about North Harbour, says Aiden. I'm not sure whether or not that will impact their handling in this second half. They will definitely have to sort that out. And they'll be in trouble just starting now, says Nars. No lead as a short thing for the Turbos, but seriously want them to do it. 0-1 this season. May as well go 0-2. Says Studs Race. And Manawatu need at least 4 tries to win versus Harbour, says Jonathan. Well, they're halfway there at the moment. Try from Geordie Filiuan as well as Tiniella Filamoni. But it's tricky. That second half of Auckland versus Waikato, I feel like has now really made a lot of people unsure about, like Thuds Ray said, what is a good lead? And what is a lead that is big enough that you aren't going to go on and lose it? Like in this case, it's a decent, 12 points. I think that they'll be wanting to get outside of that 2-try window. Watching Waz versus Dolphins on Sky Sport now. I'll pop over and post scores, but come on, Harbour Jeepers. Says Nars Williams. And just started now. Says the Nars there too. But yeah, at this point, I will mention the Bunnings NPC will be continuing throughout the weekend. Canterbury playing Wellington. That is the game tomorrow at 2 p.m. Southland versus Otago at 4:30. And then the Taranaki versus Northland Ranfurly Shield contest at 7:05. From there on Sunday, there are 2 other games. Bay of Plenty versus Tasman. That is the 2:05 kickoff. And then we have got there 4:35 p.m. Counties Manukau versus Hawke's Bay. There we go. So those are all the matches throughout the weekend. Harbour missing a few top backline players. Stevenson, Tane, Mark DeLeon, Moses Leo. Sears Blues Nate. And I post scores, that's like spoiling movies. Says Studs Race. And there as well. Yeah, second half getting very close to back underway. Early 3 points would be massive for Manawatu, but an early try would be even better. Oh, Lazy Boy, 25% off. I didn't realise that Lazy Boy was spelled L-A and then the hyphen Z hyphen boy. I always thought it was just Lazy Boy with spelling of lazy. It's a bit of irrelevant information, really. But second half, very close. And like I said, I'm not too sure which games that we are going to be doing for the NPC throughout the next 2 days. It does depend on what's happening with when I will be busy. But I am doing the 2 games of the Curry Cup on Sunday. The match between the Lions and the Western Province, as well as the game between the Bulls and the Sharks. And then also, of course, doing that British and Irish Lions matchup between Australia and the British and Irish Lions. It will be the 3rd test match. Don't jinx Harbour, please, says Aiden. So are they your NPC team normally, Aiden? I assume that they would be then. And thank you, Hamish, for the commentary for the NPC. No worries at all. Like I said, first time in 3 years that we have been covering the NPC on the channel. And it's been a little while, but I felt like if I was covering the Curry Cup, which is the provincial rugby in South Africa, if I didn't do some of the NPC too, people would think I was showing biased, and we can't be having that. Plus, normally for these games of the NPC, I just watch them anyway. So I thought, why not watch them on the stream rather than by myself. I never realised how many ads they squeezed in between these games. Like, I know that for Super Rugby, we get some ads, but then they normally have some sort of like analysis as well, or a decent bulk of the analysis. And in this case, it's more so they just keep on chucking the ads in, and then all of a sudden we're back for the second 40 minutes. Rugby Championship, 2 weeks away. I will mention Scott Robertson announcing his side on Monday, only about 3 days away. We will be doing a live stream for that rather than just a video. We'll be doing a little bit of both. Got to be worth your time for views, though. All about the pingers. Says Studs Rays. The thing is, though, right, and I feel like it's just being honest. If it was just about the dollars rather than the views and whatnot, or sorry, if it was all about the dollars and the views, then there would be a lot of competitions that wouldn't be worth doing. But the best thing is, it's not about that. I do them because I love doing the commentary, and also talking to you guys all throughout the games is always what makes them so special. But yeah, if you were just doing it from a monetary standpoint, we've been in the red many, many times, and we'll continue to be in the red many, many times from now for the channel. But I've got used to it. Melvin, just the 1 try scorer for North Harbour compared to the 2 that we've seen for Manawatu. They've had Geordie Filiuan as well as Tiniela Filamoni to have his debut season for the Highlanders down south. Manawatu assistant coach just saying about that defence and how well they were able to handle it throughout that first half. 104 tackles have been made. I mean, it's made a few more by North Harbour. Only the 9 missed tackles as well for Manawatu. That information would be awesome to do South Canterbury game. Hamish doing all right in the Heartlands Rugby. Sierras Blues, Nate. The slight annoying thing about that is that they only show every once in a while game rather than all of them, I've noticed, for the kind of Sky coverage. I don't jinx Harbour. But they are just talking to Grant Henson, North Harbour's assistant coach, saying he's too frantic with the ball. For a side you rock, mate. I hope that you enjoyed it and the interactive stuff. Says Studs Race. But yeah, like these live streams wouldn't be anywhere near the same without you guys in the chat. In fact, if it was just me doing the commentary, I honestly do think if I had like chat turned off, we would have probably stopped doing it a long time ago. But still here. And now you cover the games on YouTube because you love reading our ridiculous comments and our lack of rugby knowledge. Says Xander. Well, you never see the same thing twice in a chat. You know, the amount of topics that we have covered throughout the 2,000 streams that I've done on the channel, we've covered a lot of random stuff. I learned a lot of random stuff too. But every once in a while, rugby is mentioned. Now Brett Cameron ready to kick this one off for the second half, and we are going to be back underway for this contest. Manawatu with that nice handy 12-point lead, but they have to hang on and not allow North Harbour back into this game. Currently sitting nicely though for this Manawatu side in front of the home crowd. The Turbos fans in the stands will be happy. Campbell puts it back into the pocket of Patrick Pellegrini. Let's kick it downfield, taken near the back. This time it's going to be Drew Wild again, running it forward. Thought about, massive shot on him by Tom Savage. He did sell the dummy as if he was going to pass him, but maybe he should have because he got absolutely nailed in the shot. TK Howden now slinging it out wide. Brett Cameron goes to Braden Yorsi, kicking it in behind. Well handled again by Patrick Pellegrini, who's had some great positioning throughout this game. Campbell for North Harbour, just looking to set it here. Not going too crazy. Last thing that they want to do is make another big mistake. I thought that was going to be the charge down. Where to get Biltong in South Island? No answers here. I did see it in the supermarket the other day. But it was in the supermarket 30 minutes away because I was just having a quick wee look. They had it next to the beef jerky, which I know was the big debate of one of the Curry Cup live streams. But they had two different types. It was Canterbury Biltong and another like Biltong Co, I think was the other name of it there. Just talking about the milestone game for Braden Yossi. Which one? Is in like which supermarket? It was Woolworths. It was actually New World that I saw it in. We have there the Dolphins are winning. So here's Kiwi Express. I've just said there that Braden Yossi, 2 forced turnovers. New World countdown, pack and save. So yeah, it was in New World. So I'd assume that it would be in pack and save too. In that case, big bump off from Braden Yossi, sitting down the opposition. Now Phil Ewan. Back up now to Basin. Phil Ewan. Thought about the short side. They had TK Howden, as well as I think that might have been James Toffa and Braden Yossi. There was some frustration coming there. Now Vernon Basson. Now Phil Ewan flicks it back on the inside. Bad pass from the halfback. Nutty Laumape unable to gather it as it was far too far out in front of him. I think Phil Ewan's just showing that inexperience at times here. He's had some great moments. He scored the try, but he's also blown a try in that first half and just thrown a pass that didn't need to happen. In that case, that gives away the ball. Enjoying commentary from Zimbabwe, says Tanashi. Thank you very much for being here. It is greatly appreciated. What game is streaming tomorrow? Nothing confirmed as of yet, other than the British and Irish Lions versus Australia and the 2 Curry Cup games. NPC-wise, no idea, only because I have to wait and find out what's happening with one of the other Kiwi lads who's coming down. Because I think the 4 of us are going to be hanging out, but I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know why. Well, I know why, because he is down for the first time in ages, but I'm not sure about what the schedule looks like, so I can't really confirm anything. Who's your team in the NPC? I don't really have one, to be honest. Like, I'm located halfway between Otago and Canterbury in terms of geographically, but I wouldn't really say either of those sides are any more favourable for me than any other team. I don't know how says Islanders fan. We are now going to see another scrum here, 42 minutes through. And this fixture, Ben Brownlee has made his way on. Thought that said STI on the back, but it's STL for the North Harbour kit. Now going short side, Luke Campbell will kick it downfield again. Taken at the back. This would be an upset, I would say. Yep, second upset of the Bunnings NPC. If Manawatu win, then no favourite has won a game as of yet. That just tells you once again how unpredictable this competition can be. But now backline moving again. TK Howden. It was almost a nice steal in the breakdown, but Drew Wild, quick hands from Braden Yorsi, gets it on the outside to would have been Toffa. And give us an idea of where on the field the current players around the halfway line. Now, going to be tackled by the big man, Sione Mafaleo, Geordie Phil Ewan. Into the pocket, Brett Cameron. On for the 50-22 attempt, although they were just inside of North Harbour's territory, so no option there. But Cade Banks, be kicking this one downfield, doesn't find touch. 40 metres out from their line now, Manawatu. Going to Drew Wild, little bit of a spin there. Cade Banks forces the error. Wild has to regather. And Wildly getting in there with a breakdown players for North Harbour who have pulled off the steal in the breakdown. I think it was Felix Kalapu who managed to get it away, and now the backline movement out to the left-hand side. Goes into touch, no one ready for it. Now it will be the line out. They're saying Marker frustrated. He was going, where was the winger? Then he realised he was the winger. Campbell, it just went over the head of one of the centres. I think it would have been Tom Hendrickson. And just a little bit too far out in front. The ball went out. Vernon Basson with the line out throw, 30 metres out from their own line here. Manawatu. He claimed and picked up though by Jock. Oh, I almost said Jock Campbell, but it is Luke Campbell. And then I think it's been called as a knock on. No. I've said it's gone backwards. It did look like it was a clear knock on, but it will be play on now. North Harbour in possession. Alex, that no-look pass wasn't flash. Yeah, it's one of those ones how if they just continued attacking the way that they were, they probably would have been fine and they would have potentially found a gap. Oh, another drop ball, but it goes backwards twice for North Harbour. Patrick Pellegrini going for the cross kick. Marker gets the bounce of the ball. They'll just check his arm to make sure that he wasn't out. But the TMO, I think this might be the first time we've seen the TMO called upon in this competition. Right, they are just clearing to see whether or not Sophie Marker had his hand in touch. But if he didn't, means that maybe he could have his first try. Just waiting to hear that TMO call. I think the clock's been stuck on 42 for a while as well for them. Right, checking this one. Oh, he's dropped it. Sophie Marker, I don't think that can be classed as clear control. Oh, depends on how you look at it. All I'm going to say is if they call this as control, then Billy Proctor's one up against France should have also been a try. But there's an angle there where it looks like there are no fingers on the ball, maybe other than perhaps a thumb. Might be the only thing that's stuck to the ball. But I think if you go back and you look at every try slow enough, you can see some form of separation. Sophie Marker, I think he's going to be very unlucky with this one, depending on the angle that they look at. From this angle, it looks good because it's all a blur. I don't know if they're going to give it. On-field decision, I don't think was a try. Right. Okay, they also want to check to see whether or not North Harbour did knock that ball on earlier. Now, the benefit, I believe, means in this case, that will be a very hard decision to make. But I do think they'll find a knock on earlier so they won't have to worry about making it. Right, did he catch it at his feet or was the ball dropped? For it's this next pass from Campbell. Oh, that's hard to tell from that angle because there was a bloke in the way. Hopefully we got another angle of it. Warriors tied at 6-6. Good response by the Dolphins. Right, this wide angle might show it. No, that's a knock on. So I don't think they're going to have to make that decision of whether or not it was on the ground or not. More than 2 replays on that suggests someone really wants this to be a try-set-starts race. Right, this is now slowing down this game quite drastically. We've been waiting about 3 minutes. You know, I think that's knocked on. I don't think he's been able to scoop that up in time. So I think it will be a Manawatu scrum. They're about 25 metres out from the line. But they are looking at it again. I feel like his problem is he keeps on speeding it up too much. If he's trying to watch it in super slow motion, you got to watch it in super slow motion. That's still, yeah, I think there's a knock on. Right, what is the call going to be? The referee's still discussing it. Right. We're about to hear something. Oh boy. Oh boy. No clear evidence that that was a knock-on. The grounding they have considered close enough, and that means that it will be a try for North Harbour. No clear evidence of a knock-on. I don't think they looked at it hard enough, to be honest, but that's all right. A little bit of controversy never hurt anyone in a game of rugby. We will go like that. That is now going to make the score 17 points to 10 with a kick to come. And we have got there, that's criminal. Says Studs Ray, what minute is it, bro? At the moment, the clock on the game is frozen at 42 and a half minutes, but we're around about 45. Oh, what's wrong with the clock? It is frozen on the game at 42 minutes 35. They haven't kept it updated. That kick goes over from Patrick Pellegrini. And that is now going to make the score 17 points to 12 in controversial fashion. Okay, so there, the sideline commentator was saying they were right next to the TMO who didn't see what was potentially a knock-on. So I wonder if that TMO would have heard her say that. Abu, I want man to have a better start to the season, says Jonathan there. And okay, thanks man, keep up the good content, says I don't thank you very much. Oh, clock is now actually updating, but it's only on 43, which I believe we're a bit further than in the actual game, sorry. A rugby full of fraud. Says Ray, yeah, honestly, like, the grounding was shaky enough. You know, from one angle, it looked like there were fingers on it. From the other, it looked like he had dropped that ball. But it was that knock-on that they never really looked at, I think, close enough. Oh. Okay, it is going to be now the line-out option. I will mention the coverage has just cut out at the game as well. It's gone to a green screen. And not the kind that's behind me, 47 minutes 33. So yeah, Jonathan there. Oh, yep, there we go. We got sorry for the interruption from Sky Sport. I lost coverage here, says Novmum. And yeah, for 47 minutes. Yeah, it did seem like they were a bit further through than maybe first anticipated. Yeah, they've just got the sorry for the interruption message on the screen. They're doing their best to get it back on the air, but for now the score sits 17 points to 12 between these two sides. The two tries for North Harbour with Jed Melvin and Sophie Market just recently getting the try that got North Harbour back into this game. Geordie Phil Ewan scoring the try for Manawatu. And also Taniela Philemoni. I think I've messed up his name every time I've tried to say it, but he scored himself a try for Manawatu just like he did for the Landers in the early stages of his career. But unfortunately, we've got Sky TV playing up a little bit. Chat amongst yourselves, say Sky TV, says Studs Race. Yeah, they want everyone to debate whether or not they felt that was a try. But for now, we have no idea what is happening in the contest, so we will have to eagerly await for it to come back. We have one for the Curry Cup. Oh, there we go. It is back now. But yeah, we had a Curry Cup break where they were having interruptions on Sky. It took 15 minutes before the coverage came back. That was a pretty long 15 minutes indeed. It looks like the penalty there has actually gone in favour of Cade Banks for North Harbour. The half-time, not the half-time, but the clock is back up to 45 minutes. I think they're a bit further through though. Patrick Pellegrini. Yep, kicking it in behind. Little chip attempted, awkward bouncing ball. Knock on from Manawatu, and it becomes a penalty for accidental offside. Like I said, no change to the score as of yet. They've actually just mentioned about the technical difficulties, and they did apologise about it there. It looks like now North Harbour, they're going to go for the corner. Yep, they are. So they are just going to go for a little bit of the safer option here for this North Harbour team rather than going too aggressive and getting themselves in some trouble and perhaps missing out on points like we saw Manawatu do in that first half. One match so far, 2 points in his NPC career, Patrick Pellegrini. Certainly a great signing for North Harbour. I think he's going to help them a lot throughout this season. This is to add the extra the extra 3, I should say. And Pellegrini, straight over, as you would expect. And that is now going to make the score 17 points to 15. Go like this. They're saying 6 minutes gone in the second half, but I do have a feeling that this game might end a little bit earlier than they actually say. Now, kick downfield, nicely taken inside of the 22 by Cade Banks. Both of these sides have still got a lot of gas left in the tanks. In terms of being able to cause a little bit of a late upset. Ngāti Laumape needs that ball in hand just that little bit more. Kick downfield from Pellegrini at the back, waiting for it. Once again was Drew Wild. He's had a busy game from the back. Filamoni tackled round the halfway line by Melvin, the try scorer. Phil Ewan, pick and go again. He's done that a few times throughout this game. Not afraid of taking contact. Filamoni now goes on the outside to Ngāti Laumape. Of course, him and Pellegrini both will have experience for Moana Pacifica. Oh, a lot of men in the breakdown there, but it stays on the side of Manawatu. Cross to the left, short pop pass up. A lot of changes made for Manawatu when it comes to their benches. I think that was Gavigan. Now another penalty in the breakdown. And off the feet, penalty going against Murphy Taramai, I believe. Who do you think will win from what you have seen? This game says Champness Drive. Well, I would say that Manawatu's defence has been the better of the two. North Harbour have struggled to get into this game's flow at times, but at the same time, after a controversial try, they have got the momentum. So, you could easily still see it going both ways. I'd like to think Manawatu would be able to just hold on, though. Maybe score again soon, because North Harbour is still making their fair share of mistakes. But it could be a tricky one to really work out. And mate, thanks for the commentary, says Amos. I should mention, they are going for the 3 points again. In this case, Manawatu. Oh. Right, timer's back on. They had the clock off for a second. It's greatly appreciated you guys being here for this NPC stream. Like I said, first time in 3 years that we have been doing the NPC this year. Thought I'd better pop in for a couple matches, though. That kick misses away to the side. So it will not add the extra points, which I think they shouldn't have really been going for. Of course, that's easy to say now that he's missed it, but that's where if you kick it for the corner and you score a try, you're good. And they will be outside of that 7-point scoring margin. In this case now, they're still within 3. How crazy was Waikato's last win last night? We did cover it on the channel. I have to say, one of the most hectic games of the NPC that we've seen in quite some time. Yes, both sides at times were far from perfect with the slippery conditions at Eden Park. But when they got going, in that second half, the fact that it was Lima Sopawanga who scored that last-minute try, I think was quite poetic in a way. After being away from the game for 3,200 days from NPC Rugby. Ngāti Laumape just breaking out of 2 tackles. That's a better carry from the Moana Pacifica signing. Braden Yorsi, nice quick hands. Filamoni going down the outside, gets back up to his feet as another crack stays in the field of play. Oh, that seemed like it was off the ball from Braden Yorsi, who might be having a bit of a wrestle here with Marker on the near side. Off to the left-hand side again. A little bit of a spin there from the big man, Joe Gavigan. And it looks like maybe there is an injury here for one of the North Harbour players. He is holding his head, so that does not look too good for him. They are currently playing with 14 men, North Harbour, with his injury. Now, Geordie Filiuan back across Raymond Tupu. They got a little bit too close to the injured player, so now they will have to go back for the injury. Are you doing Lions and Wallabies again tomorrow night? Yeah, we certainly are. And also a couple games of the Curry Cup after that. Plenty of rugby that will be taking place in the near future. Wouldn't it be cool if this league and the South African Currie Cup teams compete in one competition? It probably would be financially brutal for both sides, but I would like to see it. It'd be very interesting to see how the two sides do match up because, of course, there's always those comparisons, but at the same time, like, it's very hard to tell. But yeah, Currie Cup coming up this weekend. We are going to be covering that one on the channel as well. Looks like Nick Fakina is having some troubles with his neck at the moment, position on the field. He is currently lying down about 45 metres out from his team's line, but he was in the way of the Manawatu attack, so they did have to stop it. But yeah, just getting his head on the wrong side by the looks of it. Oh no, it was actually the next collision. Oh, okay, I know what's happened there. He's tried to go for the big shot on the big prop, and what has happened is he has run straight into the prop's hip bone and put himself to sleep. Right, he's going to make his way off the field too. He don't look like he knows where it is, or where he is, but they're going to be having a Manawatu scrum about 35 metres out from the line now. Ouch needs to mention for him for a few moments. Says Studs raising, let's go Harbour, says Amos. And come on, Manawatu, says Nichelle. And there as well, we do see Hal making his way on. And that's for the Vakina injury. It looks like he might also have a bit of an ankle injury too, which probably isn't helping with his stableness on his feet. But also, the clock is updated to 55 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So I think they made up those few minutes that they missed out on. This guy, Temps, says, Ryan, I assume you're asking the score and the time. So 17 points to 5 for Manawatu. And 55 minutes gone in this fixture. Geordie Filion got to feed this ball in. Now, going off to the left-hand side, Geordie Filion looking for the grubber. It sits up almost for Manawatu. That was close to a knock-on as well there. In fact, it's a penalty going the way of North Harbour for a high tackle. Any idea who'll win from here? No idea whatsoever. So if you're going to try and place a bet on it, I definitely just would not. 17 points to 5, says Studs Race for the halftime score. Yeah, so the 12 points separating them. The halftime break and then coming back with that controversial North Harbour try and the extra 3 added in too. It just ends up with the accidental head contact. Don't think there was anything cynical in it, but was still not ideal. We're going to see now Rory making his way off the field. And that is going to be off Tawa Tivalu. Makes his way on. Now, nicely taken. North Harbour going back across to the left-hand side. Patrick Pellegrini, little chip and chase from that man. Bounces up though for North Harbour. Deliberately knocked down, or at least a knock on anyway, against North Harbour. They'll go back for the scrum. Seen a lot of scrums throughout this game. Definitely in the second half when the sides are starting to tire and throw a few more risky passes around, although that can also lead to an interception try. We saw that last night between Waikato and Auckland. It's like another sub is about to be made in that number 16 jersey. It is Takabao. Will make his way on to the park. Scrum, we're on the field. Says for Red, they are scrummaging 45 metres out from the line. And that is North Harbour's line, I should clarify. Geordie Filion. To feed this ball in? No, he's not, because Nick Hogan says we need another scrum reset. Okay, I think that he's just given the warnings to the front row saying you guys have both come on. Time, says Ryan. It is currently sitting 57 minutes through in this contest. But 2 points separating them in this matchup. Seen 2 tries apiece, so still the opportunity for a bonus point. We see 2 more tries scored by each. Geordie Filion going to the short side again. He's going to try and run it himself. Looks for the wrong timed offload. He's doing that far too much, Geordie Filion. He's actually blowing quite a few attacking chances for Manawatu. Luckily for him, there was a knock-on afterwards from Manawatu, but it didn't quite cost them. But this certainly will. North Harbour charging forward. Sits up for Cade Banks, who drops what looked like It could have been a certain try. And now, I think it's going to be the line out for Manawatu, 5 metres out from their own line here. A knock on into touch. So they have actually opted to go for the scrum here. Manawatu score is 17 points to 15. It certainly is. After 59 minutes in this matchup, couple more changes beyond the cards here. I did see Tony Tuffa there briefly. Was Murphy Taramai in front of that kick from Cade Banks? Or to Cade Banks? On that wide angle, that didn't do him too many favours, but it's still going to be that scrum. We do see now Tamati making his way onto the field, and that is going to be replacing Geordie Phil-Ewan. Jai Tamati, actually a youngster who was there for the under-20s competition. Looks like another change here. Jack Lee come onto the field for Kalapu. Right, time's back on. 59 minutes through. Scrum once again 5 metres out. In fact, now 10 metres out from their own line. Geordie Phil-Ewan is still out there. So Jai Tamati may have come on for someone else in that case. Oh, and once again, a little bit too much movement there at scrum time. Like a lot of conversation going on with those two front rows. Okay, referees just said we had no issues until your replacements have come on the field. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a free kick or a penalty just around the corner here. It's still very close. The 2 points separating the sides. Of course, some pretty hard games coming up for both of these teams, so you want to walk out of this game with some points on the table. But Geordie Phil-Ewan, that is the big push from Manawatu, and they get penalised for it. Angling, I think, is the call there. North Harbour going to be in a great position. We have got there what time? Says Ryan, at the moment the time is sitting 60 minutes through. That ball kicked into touch, only sitting 5 metres out from the line now. North Harbour again have got themselves the attacking chance. Does seem like the second half we're seeing some of the errors that North Harbour made in the first rubbing off on Manawatu in the second. Again, going to be thrown in. Whakabao. Oh no, there he is. Jai Tamati now making his way onto the field. And that is going to be for Geordie Phil-Ewan. I've said he's had a brilliant game. He's had some brilliant moments, but I do also think he has unfortunately made some rough decisions and have cost his side a little bit, but it hasn't cost them the game as of yet. Still plenty of time left. The rolling ball being defended now off to the left-hand side into the middle of the park. Goes Tom Hendrickson. Oh, loose ball. Picked up there, North Harbour. Still in possession. Looking for the ball. He's actually fallen the wrong way, and it is on the side of Manawatu, or at least it was, and they're playing the ball on the ground. Will be the penalty against North Harbour. But Manawatu, that one has fired them up big time. Braden Yossi trying to keep his side composed for what will be a very important next 19 minutes of this fixture. They'd love nothing more than a try or two. The crowd chanting for them as well, and they haven't found touch with it. It's a crucial error that can cost sides a game. And Manawatu is going to the trenches tonight. This is awesome, and then they just blew it by giving the ball straight back to North Harbour. Unfortunately, it seems like the older habits do die fast with this side, but 25 metres out from the line. North Harbour now getting that little bit closer. Two players diving in off their feet, but the ball's still on the side of the away team. Tackle completed. Digging for that one. It is, I believe, Nyini. And will be the penalty now to North Harbour. This one's straight out in front of the post, and this should be an easy kick for Patrick Pellegrini. Not rolling away penalty going against Joe Gavigan there. And 17 points to 15. I'm watching Waz. They'll go on and win, says Highlanders fan. I think at the moment North Harbour have all the momentum. Manawatu are letting this one slip out of their fingertips a little bit here if they're not careful. They haven't been able to score any points throughout the second half. It was 17-5 at half time. Now with these extra 3 points, it will be 13-0 for the second half of rugby. So, a little bit similar to what we saw between Auckland and Waikato. One side started better, the other side finishing better. Did I jinx them? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, makes sense to go for the 3. And Pellegrini taking the penalty. He certainly is, just like he has for the rest of the kicks of the day. Now, ready to line up this kick here for Manawatu from the halfway line. Needs to kick off deep here, Cameron. Hope that the opposition kick it into touch and then create an attack. For this Manawatu side, the Warriors are losing. Says Kiwi Express. And come on, Manawatu, wake them. Says Nishal. Now, this one's going to be kicked downfield from North Harbour. Does go into touch, so exactly what we just said. But now Manawatu have to make the most of it. But still anyone's game. But honestly, I think North Harbour will win, says Nov Mum. Yeah, currently just the 16 minutes remaining. On out throw, 37 metres out. Raymond Tuputupu wiping the sweat from his brow. Just getting it downfield. Showing in the replay there for North Harbour's kick. He got a decent amount of distance on it. TK Howden claims the line out. Now here comes the backline movement. Brett Cameron passes on the outside to Braden Yorsi, who always proves hard to get down on the ground, but Ben Brownlee has done well. TK Howden. Shot coming in from Tom Savage, the skipper of North Harbour. Popping it back now and out to the left-hand side. Cade Banks gets it back for North Harbour, who just tried to force the backline too much. And this is better than the Warriors game, lol. Says David the Mod, Waikato showed it's not over till the last minute. Says Francois, they certainly did. And Lima Sopawonga showed even if you're away for almost 10 years of NPC rugby, you can still score an important try. TK Howden moving forward. 30 metres out, looking for the steal and the breakdown, but it pops out the back now, moving nicely. Couldn't get his offload away for Sam Coles. Now, Tamati goes across to TK Howden. Oh, passes back across, Tamati. Big shot on Totafalu. Waikato showed on already, they were under 9. But now Tamati passes to the left-hand side again. Philemoni can't sneak through the defence of Ben Brownlee. He's made 2 good tackles in a row. Still 40 metres from the line. Brett Cameron going for the cross kick. Braden Yossi in the foot race. No option there but to run it into touch for Sophie Marker. And now chance here for Manawatu on attack. The Turbos with the 5 metre line out. It's a big thumbs up there, Braden Yossi. Lima Sopawonga proved that Lima Sopawonga can score tries like that. Says Studs Race. Who's attacking? So in that case, it was Brett Cameron of Manawatu. And then from there, we saw it run into touch by Sophie Marker. So now Manawatu are still on the attack. Now ready to throw this ball in. Raymond Tuputupu does go in. No contest there. So now they can start to move this one. No advantage as of yet, but it could be coming soon. Raymond Tuputupu goes over for the try. It just pretty much parted. And Manawatu with Raymond Tuputupu do score and take the lead back. It's come at a perfect time in the match for them, although this kick is crucial. 4 points difference is not quite enough. 6 points may not be either, but it's a lot better than being 1 point down. Yes, yes, yes. Says Studs Raise there. If Manawatu pushes in a try here, they will win. Says Jonathan. We're going to see it there. Just everyone for North Harbour just slowly wheeled away to one side, and then that left the perfect running line for Raymond Tuputupu to carry the ball over. Come on, the turbo, says Narav. Now Brett Cameron. The kick for him today. There is the pressure on. Does strike it well, and it goes over from 20 metres out, and that will make the score now 24 points to 18. Now in fact, it's less than the 14 minutes remaining. Almost less than 12 minutes left on the clock. I didn't realise I'd be cheering for the Turbos this weekend, yeah, says Thuds Rose. That's the thing, like, they have been an underdog for so long that they can play some very good rugby. And honestly, their defence has been better in this game. Oh, not gone there from North Harbour. The mistake made. I bet some money on, it was Manawatu. Come on, boys, from South Africa, says Francois. I see. To be fair, a lot of the ones outside of New Zealand do only tune in to see if they're going to make their money. We've had that a lot. Definitely with Super Rugby in America. That was a common thing that would happen. We had someone yesterday who said if the competition, they're never betting on it again. So obviously they picked the wrong option in the Auckland versus Waikato game. And we have got there Manawatu, says Dino. And just showing the games that are coming up. Wellington versus Canterbury. That is taking place in Porirua tomorrow. We've got Southland versus Otago and Invercargill. And then there is the game between Taranaki and also Northland. And that will be the Bunnings NPC matchup. But also a Ranfurly Shield challenge for Northland in that game. We have got there, bro, I even bet it on Canterbury as well. Sir Francois, and DS to hold 5-game streak is a real burden to be rid of versus Harbour, says Jonathan. It's kicked deep now by the Harbour. So they have 40 metres out from the line. Brett Cameron going for the low skiddy kick. Cleaned up at the back for, well, it was Cade Banks. Didn't quite strike that one how he would have liked. And now the momentum, it seems, on attack does go the way of Manawatu. Kick downfield from the halfway line, just outside of the 22. A well-weighted one. Now a kick coming back from North Harbour. It's become a game of force back. And compared to the first half, it is actually Manawatu who are actually almost winning it at the moment. Harbour having to run it out from their own 22-metre line. Patrick Pellegrini kicks it down. Claimed by Brett Cameron once more, chasing after it. Was Pellegrini down the middle of the field. Hangs inside of the North Harbour 22 for a while. And then ball almost kicked to the touch, but doesn't end up finding it. Here comes Nari Lamapa, who's got a little bit of a bandage on his head. I'm not sure what happened to him. When that cut did end up occurring. Manawatu now. Again, going to have the position. Brett Cameron, almost some nervous hands from Faliti Say Ta'ufoao and their number 18 jersey. Oh. Brett Cameron goes back across to the right-hand side, chipped in behind once more by the replacement for Manawatu. Sits up for passed off to Tamati, and he will score it between the posts, and that should just about be the game for Manawatu. Unless, well, I mean, the problem is we've still got that PTSD from that last game between Auckland and also Waikato. This game should be over, but is it? It's the question there. But Jai Tamati, the youngster, wasn't too long ago that he was wearing that under-20s kit. They just go the length of the field. Right, Highlanders, man, has the momentum now. A very good start to the season anyway. But they should win here, says Jonathan. But yeah, kicked him behind. Then from there, well claimed. And Tamati does end up scoring. I almost hiccup there. A great try, says David the Mod. And also a good 3 should seal it gone, says New Zealand. Oh, sorry, that was Mr. Orlin. Cameron sitting an 80% accuracy. That adds the extra 2, though. And that is also a substantial one for Manawatu because that gives them the bonus point, ladies and gentlemen, from this game. No matter what, they are walking away from this contest with, I would say, at least 2 points. If not, maybe even 5. And Turbo's our good guy, says Nurav, except for a questionable try. Harbour wouldn't be in much match, really, says Jonathan. Yeah, they've just looked a little bit flat, North Harbour. I know someone mentioned about the players that they are missing in this match, but even with those guys out, like that first 20 minutes, they still had a lot of time, but they just couldn't work out this Manawatu defence. They couldn't find a way through. Now Tamati kicks it in behind, looking to play a bit of territory. And it does go into touch. How many minutes still left, says Francois? Still another 8 minutes remaining, but that is not a lot of time left. me see maybe even one more Manawatu one in there. For for North Harbour, what they will have to do from here is get themselves a converted try that would put them back within 7, and they'd walk away from this game with 1 point from the contest. But be a tricky one. Now currently on their own 22, almost not throwing that one in time. Pellegrini cross to Taramai in the middle of the field, that first 20. That some people didn't like. Set this game up for the turbo, says Studs Race, and Harbour are definitely flat, says David the Mod. Oh, looked like Cameron was half a second considering a drop goal. Instead, he has just slipped over. Dragged down by North Harbour. Tamati pops it off to Gavigan. On the halfway line. Still time for the turbos to get one more, increase that points differential, and really make a statement in front of the home crowd. Going back across to the left-hand side, some nice quick hands. You see a little bit of frustration there for Yossi. Just half a second of it. Been out there waiting on the wing patiently, and they have struggled to find him throughout this game. Oh, ball on the inside. Going to, would have been Kyle Brown. Was playing in that 13 jersey. Actually helped set up that Geordie Filion first try. And good pickups off-season. Manawatu will be competitive at least for maybe half teams. They play this way, says Jonathan. Kick downfield from Manawatu though. Now Filamoni makes the one-on-one tackle. 2 men in there for Manawatu, looking for the steal and the breakdown. Great offload though to the short side. Pops it back on the inside. And now the big man at 6. Breaking with a bit of space. Tristan Cook. He's had a couple drop balls on attack throughout this matchup at that time. Able to hang on to it. Thakabal. Ball goes back and now stolen by Manawatu again. Back into the pocket. Once again, just playing a little bit more of that territory game. Although it has backfired as Brett Cameron's kick has charged down and back on the attack for the away side. 11 handling errors from North Harbour throughout this game. Okay, Turbos will win for sure, says Nodmum. Oh, consider the interception there for Braden Yossi, but does slightly pull his hand away. So you know it could have been that deliberate knockdown if he got it wrong. 40 metres out from the line now. North Harbour with Cade Banks. Passes one more on the outside. Space again down the wing for Melvin, who has been extremely hard to drag down. Pops it on the inside to Nini, and this game is not over yet. Ladies and gentlemen, there is still time for a Harbour comeback. Like they're just saying, anything from that last night's game, if there was something learnt from it, was that the game is not over till that final whistle blows. It's happening again, says Thuds Race. We can have another 1 point game here, ladies and gentlemen. Cade Banks, good quick hands from SoFi Marker. And what time, says Ryan? We are around 75 minutes through this matchup, so still plenty of time for a couple more tries. Well, for one more try in particular, that could be the substantial one. Kick from Pellegrini is over. It's had a very good day off the kicking tee. We move up to 76 minutes through. The scores are separated by 6, which at this point in time does mean that if the game was to end now, then it's going to be 1 point for North Harbour. The thing is, though, if they score a match-winning try, they will get 5 points from this game. We have got their doubt, it says Mr. Holland. That's what people said about Waikato. They said they doubt that they can come back from a 20-point margin. In fact, people said this game was over when they were down by 20 for Waikato, and then they won. The NPC, as much as, you know, people like to think that they know what's going to happen in it, there's just no way of predicting it. It is so just random throughout these matches. But Brett Cameron around the halfway line. 3 minutes left on the clock. Manawatu looking to use their back line. Now Braden Yossi gets the pass on the outside. He's going to be dragged down. Nani Lamape. No, the interception was almost there. Filamoni will now score it for Manawatu. That was a risky one. If one pass had gone right, or one interception, I should say, had worked out, that could have been a try for Harbour down the other end. But they managed to just hold on. and never watched that game up the counties, says Mr. All-In. And we have got there, actually, I don't know who will win, says Nobmum OMG. That game should just about, or that try, should just about do it. End-to-end stuff between these two sides. Never in doubt, says Studs Rays. But Yosei got the pass away. And then Sam Coles, almost the intercept. But Philemoni, the thing is, because he was slightly behind in terms of pace with Ngāti Laumape, it actually put him in the perfect position for that pass. We see it there trying to match the tempo, and it just goes straight to him. Laumape, he had overrun it because he was expecting it not to be touched by the opposition. Who's going to win the big game tomorrow? British and Irish Lions or the other team, says Bruce. Well, the thing is, I don't think, like, either way, like I said, either way, if Australia win it, people will ridicule them for the series. If they lose it, then people will ridicule them for the series. So they actually have nothing to gain from that game, because either way, they're still going to be brutalised by the public. So, like, you know, it would be nice to see them win so that it's not a clean sweep, but that's not going to really help them at the moment, because the big game that they needed to win was that second one. Now, Manawatu almost trying to burst through again. Currently 78 minutes through this contest, moving up to 38 points to 25. And the substantialness of that other try just scored by Manawatu. Oh, it's kicked out on the full. Or is it? No, it does find touch. Pellegrini saying, I saw it land right there. Oh, and he was correct. They have now checked it, and they will go right back to where it was kicked from, which means there's still a chance of getting that bonus point for North Harbour. Well done, the Turbos. Massive shift from the forwards. Took their opportunities, says Studs Race. Now getting ready to throw this one in. But we're seeing there 3 minutes 23 inside of the opposition 22 for North Harbour. But we haven't really seen that lead to much now. Knock on coming at the line-out time from Manawatu. But we're up to 79 minutes through, which means there is not a lot of time at all remaining. And Cheetahs and the Pumas, it is difficult to tell because both aren't spectacular now. Maybe Cheetahs, says Jonathan. And, well, look at these two first games. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, the unpredictability of them alone makes you want to watch the whole season. Although we won't be able to cover all the games on the channel like I mentioned. We're covering hopefully quite a few, though. These first two games have been pretty impressive. What time is Curry Cup tomorrow, New Zealand time? Tomorrow, New Zealand time will be 5 a.m, but sadly I won't be covering that Cheetahs versus Pumas match. As after this live stream, I'll find out what time I have to be ready for tomorrow. Right. Okay. Raymond Tuputupu just having a bit of a conversation there with the referee. But North Harbour, if they score now, they get that bonus point back if it's converted. Cheetahs at home will win this one, says Francois there. But I should also mention, if North Harbour don't score in this situation, they will not get any points from this game. They have scored 3 tries. They would be just outside the 7 points. So they've pretty much done everything but get the points if this move does fail for them. But backline movement, that's 4 by a mile, unfortunately, for Cam Howe. And that will be the end of the contest. And Manawatu, for the first time in a long time, have managed to beat North Harbour 38 points to 25. You're doing the Stormers game. I assume you're talking the Western Province. And yes, we are doing the Western Province matchup on the Sunday morning. But full time for this matchup, 38 points to 25. It actually looks a lot more one-sided on the scoreboard than it was. And we have a brilliant game, brilliant call. Thanks for doing NPC. Amish says Studs Race, no worries at all. Improvements for me, says Ryan. And hopefully the Lions store will show how desperate Australia Rugby is and how much help they really need, says David the Mod. And commentary Amish says Mr. All-In there as well. So tomorrow at the moment, in terms of confirmed games, ladies and gents, the British and Irish Lions versus Australia, that one's locked in. And that one will be starting either 60 or 30 minutes before the kickoff does take place. From there, we've got the 2 games of the Curry Cup that I'm also going to be doing. New Zealand Rugby need to invest more into NPC. In what regard? Like in terms of the players, in terms of the crowd, the promotion of it? What part of it do you think needs more money thrown into it? And Bulls will thrash the Sharks, says Ryan. Yeah, that'll be an intriguing game. Definitely after, how the Sharks played last week up against the Lions. Like, I don't think anyone was anticipating them to play in the way that they did. I was going for Manawatu in this match, and they did it. So yeah, it's Kristen. But what we have seen now is both games have been won by underdogs. Waikato about $3 underdogs in their contest. And then in this game, Manawatu was sitting about $3 underdogs for the game as well. Bulls agree will win. So yeah, Jonathan, yeah, they look really strong up against the Western Province. And honestly, that Western Province versus Lions game will be a intriguing one. More promotion of NPC, please. I'm a rugby head and see zero news stories. Says Studs Rays. I think that they do need to try and get themselves an overseas broadcaster too, outside of Australia. That would probably help promote it that little bit more. Even if it was available on Rugby Pass for people outside of New Zealand and Australia, that would be the perfect way of getting more people to follow it. But yeah, sadly that didn't seem to happen for this season. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.